He was satisfied and ready to bid his farewell to this world with the help of the thunderbolt. He stood there waiting for his end. The lightning finally hit him, making a huge explosion at the top of the mountain. Even the mountain top was shattered into pieces, let alone the person who was on the way. No one would stay intact after receiving that explosion. A beautiful morning came. There are only few clouds in the blue and clean sky. There stood the grave of the sword in the front. The old master just woke up and remembered what happened last night. Last night he went out to take a leak, but was scared by the huge number of lightning strikes, calling it a terrifying heavenly tribulation. Buhui called her master, however the old man was daydreaming about how terrifying was last night. Her voice gave him shivers, shaking his body to the bone, and got some goosebumps. She explained that last night she was trying to comprehend, but suddenly she sensed the arrival of a heavenly tribulation, and it made her worried that if the person who was undergoing it was the old master. He assured that the heavenly tribulation wasn't there for him. He was so terrified that he curled up in his bed like a baby and was shaking all night long. He got the goosebumps and sweats all over his face just remembering it. Senior sister asked that the heavenly tribulation from last night seemed extraordinary, so whether the old master had any idea about its origin and why it appeared here. It was the ninefold thunder tribulation, capable of destroying a region's land and water. It said that it only descends when an extraordinary individual who is born to rectify chaos is present. Legend has it that when this heavenly tribulation arrives, regardless of whether the cultivator successfully crosses it, the area within 100 miles turns into scorched earth and no grass grows for 100 years. Junior sister was so impressed, and she had no idea that the thunderstorm was really that severe. She was busy trying to replicate MC's martial arts. The old master said that the ninefold thunder tribulation hadn't descended in 1,000 years. Even the old master knew its existence from some ancient texts. After all, heavenly tribulations were common, but extraordinary individuals who could attract the ninefold thunder tribulation were virtually unheard of. The junior sister screamed that Brother Nia was back. Buhui blushed, her cheeks were red as an apple. How cute! The old master started to sweat because he knew who was behind the heavenly tribulation. He walked in asking if they were already awake. He was in total mess. His clothes were burnt down and he had the burnt smell on him. But he gave awkward simile while holding the pan that he used to attract the lightning last night. The two girls were so happy to see him as they greeted him with a warm and welcoming expression. He was also concerned with Buhui's condition. He asked if she was feeling better and her injuries were all right now. She happily answered that after he treated her yesterday, her injuries were almost healed and she was so grateful for what he had done for her. He was also happy to hear that she was doing all right, but also added that she needed to get some more rest. And in another 2 days she'd be fully recovered. As he finished saying that, junior sister eagerly called his name and pulled his burnt sleeves, or the remaining of whatever left his sleeves. She excitedly asked if he saw the thunderstorm last night. It was so loud and kept striking them. Her master said it was the ninefold thunder tribulation. It's supposed to be extremely formidable. He responded that the name of the storm sounded intimidating. But what they had experienced last night probably wasn't that heavenly tribulation. The voltage was too low. He got struck all night, and he just felt numb all over, nothing more. His words hit the old master as an arrow, giving him emotional damage. The emotional damage was too deep that he lost control of his mind. He blamed him for hiding his identity at that point and wanted him to stop pretending and admit that the thunder tribulation was caused by him. However, everything was the old man's head. He couldn't dare to say it out loud. The old man thought that the demon Lord Mitian truly lived up to his name. Even though he hadn't fully regained his strength yet, he's still fearless in the face of the ninefold thunder tribulation. To think that he could face the ninefold thunder tribulation shortly after his rebirth. Once he regains his past strength, it seemed he would have control over this world. He needed to be eliminated before he regains his true power. He fell to his bed. He became white as snow. Everyone was so worried about his well-being. However, the reason was that he was so excited last night, thinking he might get struck by lightning, and didn't sleep at all. Now he was back. He felt so tired all of a sudden. He explained that he was just tired because he was busy last night. A short rest was all he needed. He would totally be fine after he rested. He'd make something delicious for them when he woke up. He promised that even if he could barely move his body and it was already shaking from too much fatigue. The old man saw the opportunity and took his chance to suggest that if he's not feeling well today, perhaps he should just rest and let the old man to show off his culinary skills and take care of today's lunch. I personally don't know what's going to happen right now. However, two sisters made this shocked face right after that they heard that the old master was about to cook. They definitely knew the shit was about to go down. The MC was kind of relieved after hearing that the old man would cook, but he still asked if it wouldn't be too much trouble for the old master. He passed the pan to the old man, who gratefully accepted it and said it would be his way of repaying MC's hospitality in these past 2 days. The old master asked Buhue and Sierra to help him out in the kitchen. They shivered and had cold sweats and goosebumps all over their body. The junior sister started crying, hugging her sister's foot, saying last time when their master roasted the rabbit, she took one bite and couldn't get out of the bed for 3 days. This time she wouldn't be able to eat for 3 months. He hit her with the pan to her head, leaving a bump, and he angrily left, saying how she dared to question his master's culinary skills. She would eat to the fullest this time. After a while, they were listening carefully at the kitchen door, trying to figure out what their master was up to and what kind of food he was making. The old master was cooking chicken soup and it was looking fine. It was something edible until he showed his true purpose for taking up the challenge of cooking food. He pulled out a bunch of different poison with the evil laugh on his face and radiated dark aura. He poured all the poison into the food he was making and said he probably couldn't confront Mition head-on with his current strength, but poisoning him should work just fine. He was hoping that his poison could finish the MC off and the MC could only blame himself for his arrogance for letting him cook. After he mixed everything all at once, the food started to glow and boom! It exploded, shattering the door and tossing two sisters to the ground. After explosion, the remaining of the food and all the ingredients were all over the place. The old man was lying in the middle of the kitchen with the ingredients over his bod. He couldn't understand how it happened. A while passed, two sisters were putting on bandage on his wounds all over his body while he was contemplating on the pan, thinking that the pan could be the culprit behind the explosion. All of a sudden, the spirit of the heavenly tribulation right before his eyes. And he was too stunned to do anything. The only thing in his mind was that Mition intentionally attracted the ninefold thunder tribulation last night with the purpose of sealing its power into this iron pot. Now, the iron post has become a terrifying top-tier artifact. Turning an ordinary item into a top-tier artifact not only gives it astonishing power but also catches opponents off guard. The explosion just now was triggered by the old master, causing a leakage of the artifact's power. The MC walked in saying that he heard an explosion, so he came to check if everything was fine or if there's a problem. The old master got so scared, so he jumped out of his place after he heard the MC's voice. But it actually looks like he farted so hard that he seemed like flying. The old man assured that there's no problem, he wasn't paying attention for a moment and got a minor injury. But he actually got hurt really bad in the explosion. The sisters contradicted the master, saying that if it really was a minor injury. Even the MC was having a hard time believing it. But the old man didn't back down and said if he said it's a minor injury, then it's a minor injury. The MC was thinking that it was just an ordinary kitchen. The old man couldn't have accidentally blown up the kitchen and almost become paralyzed. He imagined that experts often have hidden injuries or internal injuries, and the leakage in their power might cause explosions. He just concluded with that. Worried MC said that the old man didn't seem like he was taking it lightly, so he suggested that MC should take a look at old man's injuries. But stubborn old man refused it, saying that it was fine. But two sisters had different opinion, believing that he wasn't alright at all. They said that even though Mr. Nye was just a mortal, his skills in medicine was exceptional. Master's health was the most important, so he should listen to the MC. Suddenly, Buhui fell on her knees and held her belly hard. Probably it was hurting on her belly. Hopefully she's not pregnant. Actually, it didn't hurt, but she had a sensation of energy flowing through her whole body. They put her to the bed for the MC to properly inspect her. I bet she was feeling something that she never felt before. You can see it on her face. He pulled out a needle from her belly with an awkward face, saying that he left the needle there yesterday when he was giving her acupuncture. It was the reason for stimulation of her chi and blood and caused the reaction on her body. He forgot to remove the needle. They were relieved when they heard it was just because of the needle. They thought that she got sick again just like yesterday. But our cute girl had different idea about the situation. Look how lovely she is. She said that if it weren't for the MC yesterday, she might have been seriously injured. The unintentional mistake was probably due to yesterday's distraction. Hence, he shouldn't blame himself for it. He was fine with it as long as she didn't blame him, and he laughed awkwardly and scratched back of his head. Something came to his mind suddenly and he rushed off to the outside saying the old master probably wasn't familiar with the kitchen, so he himself would make the breakfast for everyone. He made the breakfast as soon as possible and brought it to the dining table. He put the food in the bowls and served them to his guests. The old man was so surprised because the porridge was glowing. It looked simple, but it was naturally pure, like the essence of heaven and earth. It definitely wasn't ordinary porridge. They had never seen such food that's full of pure essence. It looked so exotic and delicious. They were drooling over it, but old man was suspicious as always, thinking if the MC was trying to win them over by making delicious food. Boo-hui suddenly dropped her food and started to shake while holding her belly tight. Others were worried that her injuries from yesterday were acting up again. However, she was fine. She was just about to break through. Oh my people, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Pause the video if you like or take a screenshot or something. This is a historical moment. Isn't she gorgeous? That's so thick, I mean thick. Something on her forehead started to glow. It was just 2 leaves at first, but later the 3rd shining leaf appeared on her forehead. The meaning of that was that she became mid-staged 3-leaf sword artist. In simple terms, she got thicker. 2 of them got excited and were happy for her to be able to break through this time, unlike yesterday, especially she just jumped from 1 leaf to 3 leaves. He knew that just the porridge itself wouldn't be enough to do that. So it was the result of number of events that happened since yesterday, starting from acupuncture to the porridge. The old man, who just realized the situation, slowly approached the MC after eating all of the porridge all at once and shouted that he just ate the porridge and now he felt a little uncomfortable and asked for him to give some acupuncture. He was sure that he could break through if he did that. Confused and worried, MC timidly said that he would be happy to help. But he was thinking that the old man was scared to death just now and he's asking acupuncture voluntarily. Could he be trying to take advantage of the situation? The old man's actions were little suspicious. You can hear that the old man was having his time of lime for trying to deceive the MC. 2 sisters were outside getting sick of their master's screams. They were already so annoyed by the endless calls of help. The session was finally over. However, the old man was covered in needles and was shaking nonstop from the pain. It was because he had some hidden ailments. The MC suggested it'd be best if the old man could have acupuncture every day for the next few days. The old man was scared to death when he heard he had to endure this for upcoming next 9 days. But the MC explained that the old man was fortunate that the MC discovered the hidden ailments on his body, otherwise they'd cause huge problems in the future. Although it wasn't guaranteed that the old man would get healed completely, but it'd help him to recover immensely. The old man gave up on his life, crying that he had to endure this pain for 8 more times. The MC was surprised of the old man's actions. He lied down and started mumbling that 9 consecutive days of acupuncture was like facing the 9-fold thunder tribulation. The MC was listening to what he was saying and asked if he was talking about the thunderstorm from the last night. It sounded fierce, but after experiencing it, it's not that big of a deal. The old man explained him carefully that the scariest thing about the 9-fold thunder tribulation was that it'd descend for 9 consecutive days on the same person. Not only that, every time it comes, its power would be twice as powerful as the previous night until the 9th day. However, the thunder on 9th day would be far more powerful than the combined power of the previous 8 days' thunder. Just one strike could reverse the earth veins and turn a 1,000-mile plain into wasteland. It'd take thousands of years to recover. According to the ancient texts, 9-fold thunder tribulation had occurred only a few times in the past 10,000 years, yet no one was able to withstand the first 5 days of tribulation. He thought to himself that the world of cultivation was truly bizarre. It even had thunder tribulations that strikes every day, with each day strike doubling in power. Isn't this like the thunder tribulations having their own independent thoughts? You wouldn't find this in cultivation novels. Something snapped in his brain while he was doing the math of the doubling power of the thunder tribulation. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, there still would be thunder tribulation and they'd be even more powerful. He was excited thinking that today's thunder tribulation would be more intense. That meant he would still have chance to die, especially with doubled power. He was already dreaming about it. Old Man was surprised that the MC didn't show that much of a reaction to his detailed explanation of the tribulation and the danger that it'd bring. That's why he shook him so hard, hoping the MC would come back to his senses and be aware of the danger. But he had conflict of interests right at that moment, thinking Mition entering the world posed a greater threat than the ninefold thunder tribulation. The best outcome was for him to get struck by lightning in this remote place. But the MC used his medical skills to help treating his hidden ailment. So he couldn't just leave it at that without returning the favor. And what he just did was just a favor for the MC so as not to leave a demon in his heart in the future. The MC was trying to carefully remove the needle, making sure that he wouldn't leave any more needles like the last time. But the old man was thinking that even though the first couple days of the thunder tribulation wasn't that strong and he'd be able to run away with his disciples, however, he needed to stay and keep an eye on Mition and see how things develop. That night, the MC was standing at the peak of the mountain and screaming as loud as possible to attract the thunderstorm and was holding his favorite conductor, the pan. He was saying that he was totally prepared for that and the thunder shouldn't show any mercy just because he was delicate and it needed to give it all to strike down him. However, up in the sky, Heavenly Thunder Spirit was furious for spending the whole night to take down a mere donkey but wasn't able to land a single hit. He was sure that if he increased the voltage of the electricity, he would be definitely capable of frying the donkey. He charged up enough electricity and was searching for the donkey to take his revenge. But donkey was nowhere to be found. Instead, he found the MC who was waiting for the lightning to strike with a smirk. That made the spirit even more furious. This time he decided to hit the MC before finding the donkey. The lightning was fully charged, so he planned to take him down with one strike and find the donkey later. He attacked with the max lightning because he was so angry. This time as well, the lightning blew off the whole cliff. It was for sure that he was destroyed. The pan drops to the ground as the sunlight came through. The morning came, and everyone was just plain disappointed. The MC left frustrated that he couldn't achieve his goal again. The spirit was even more furious than before. Because of today's charge was still too weak, he promised that he'd double it and destroy everything tonight. Frustration grew day by day. He wasn't able to get the MC on the third night, and it was the same for the next night as well. Nothing changed in upcoming nights as well. Night 5, 6, 7, even the 8th night was no different. Finally, the 9th day arrived. The old master was surely depressed because he was sure that it's be over tonight. He originally wanted to see how long the MC could endure the thunder tribulation, so he stayed to watch. But the MC actually held on until the 9th day. He knew that even a tiny bit of it leaking out could probably turn the three of them into ashes. He asked his disciple how was it outside. Sierra was watching the thunderstorm from outside while Senior's sister was sitting in the bed worried of tonight's outcome. She said that the lightning in the sky was so intense, crackling like it's more powerful than the previous days. Senior's sister asked her master that with the ninefold thunder tribulation being this strong, why the MC still provoked it every night. She wondered if he was using the thunder tribulation to cultivate some kind of technique. He answered that the MC was not as simple as they think. For now, all they had to do is just observe and see how things would unfold. The thunder tribulation dragged on for 9 days and its destructive power and range reached its peak. There was no escaping for them now. The old man hoped that the MC could endure its full power and gave them a slight chance of survival. The MC was sitting at the peak of the mountain with his favorite pan, and his clothes were already torn apart by the continuous 8 days strike. Even it was 8 days in a row, he felt no sensation, not a single amount of pain. The furious spirit, on the other hand, brought all the heavenly tribulation lightning that he could find. The spirit was so sure that with that much power, he could finally erase the MC from the face of the earth this time. He recharged everything he got with anger because he could no longer tolerate the humiliation. And it hit the MC who was holding the best conductor of all times. The lightning struck him from all the angles. Finally, he started to feel something. He felt tingly sensation all over his body that made him so comfortable. He really liked the feeling of getting hit by the lightning. It was so great. The donkey and the owl were watching the MC enjoy himself. They were lazing around in the corner of the front yard. The donkey asked what the owl was doing here. The owl replied that she was here to watch the master play and it's quite entertaining. The donkey girl insulted the heavenly tribulation that was probably a few hundred leaves in terms of power level in this world. How could it possibly harm her master? The owl said that there's a hidden law on this leaf continent. Knowledge was power. Over the past 100 years, the knowledge the master acquired may seem like mere information, but it filled the Bodhi tree and made him feel invincible. That lightning strike couldn't possibly harm him. He was enjoying the lightning massage while the donkey girl was talking about that her master was so powerful he must have cultivated for hundreds of thousands of leaves. Why was he having so much fun with those 3 weaklings? How much advantage have they taken of him these past few days? The owl explained that the master still couldn't control the power within him proficiently. The things he made unintentionally absorbed the attack power. The food made with this absorbed power could bring significant benefits to ordinary cultivators. So he's just sharing it with them as a gesture of goodwill. The morning came and the MC was coming back from unsuccessful mission. He was under the heavenly tribulation all night but nothing happened. He said the heavenly tribulation was not as reliable as the old man told him.